What's happening, fight fans and new media, and welcome to The Fight Room. I am your host, Nice, and welcome. Now, this is the post-fight Errol Spence, Peterson. Let's get to it. As I said, the fight was going to be pretty good. Even if it was going to last 6, 7, 8 rounds, it was a good fight overall. I seen Spence very strong. Good performance by Errol Spence. Good dominating fight. And he looked it very spectacular doing it. Full of energy. He was dominating from the start. Good round in the third round. Peterson gave him a couple nice hooks and stuck there with the fight. He was pretty good overall. Peterson was doing pretty well until probably the 4th, 5th round. That's when Spence started to really lay it out there and dominate the fight. Good fight overall. Errol Spence once Keith, one-time Thurman. But as we know, Keith Thurman has the elbow injury. He said that he's going to have a tune-up fight, and maybe in the ending of 2018, the fight can happen, but maybe not. So who is next for Spence as he waits? Because truly, I know that he really wants the fight. Everybody is pushing for that fight, of course. Everybody wants to see that fight. Keith Thurman is the man to beat at the welterweight division. But as he waits, and the whole world waits, who's next for Errol Spence? Who in the welterweight division able to stand there with Spence and give him a toe-to-toe action fight and stick there to the 12th round? Who can do it right now? Besides Keith Thurman, I'm not sure who can do it. Let's be honest. Now, we are waiting on Terrence Crawford to come to the welterweight division, and he has not proven himself yet at the welterweight division. So therefore, there's no need to talk about that. That is, of course, a future fight that can happen. Can Crawford be a top contender in the future for Spence? Probably so. I believe he has the skills and the ring generalship to be a top contender for Errol Spence Jr. and give him a good toe-to-toe matchup. Chin-wise, we never seen Crawford get tested chin-wisely. I mean, he's been hit by Gamboa, not too much by Postal. So we're not too sure. You know, he hasn't really gotten chin tested, which is even more remarkable as a skilled fighter. So can it be a top contender? Of course he can. But for now, who's next? Of course, we're waiting on Terrence Crawford versus Jeff Horn to see the outcome of that match. And mainly, whoever wins that might be the next man for Spence. But could it be? That might be too early for Crawford. You know, speculations out there, they're going to be like, how can all of a sudden so fast Crawford just come get one title fight from the go and then has a title shot for Errol Spence? It's going to be a lot of speculations. So, I mean, I'm not sure that can happen that fast. So even though if Jeff Horn and Crawford fight and Crawford was to win, I'm not sure that fight would be the next fight for Spence. I'm not too sure if that would be the outcome that quick for Crawford. Maybe so, who knows? But for me, I doubt it. Now, maybe for Spence, the next fight can be Danny Garcia. Let's say if Danny wins against his upcoming fight February 17th against Brandon Rios, then most likely, who knows? It's been said actually that whoever wins that fight is capable of fighting for the IBF title. So it's a possible fight. Now, could Danny Garcia be ready, well prepared mentally and physically for an Errol Spence fight? Who knows? I mean, we seen how he did with Peterson which he did good in the beginning of the fight and slacked off at the ending of the fight, probably the last 5 rounds, and let Lamont come and do his thing. And I actually had Lamont winning by a round, probably. From what I remember watching it and scoring it, I watched it twice, and I had him winning by a round or 2. And Danny was pretty good in that fight, but he just slacked off the last 5 rounds and let Lamont come back. But I know Danny Garcia to be a better fighter, and he has improved ever since the Lamont Peterson fight and even the Keith Thurman fight. The last 4 or 5 rounds, he was putting pressure on Keith Thurman and making Keith Thurman use the ring, move around, and had kind of Keith Thurman reminding me of Oscar De La Hoya with the fight with Tito Trinidad. Not for nothing, Keith Thurman a great fighter, the best in the welterweight division right now. But in that fight, to me, it seemed that he was just intimidated of the power of Danny Garcia, because Danny Garcia does carry power in both hands. People might not think so, but he does. He definitely has power, and his power is underrated. But is it enough to fight Errol Spence? We don't know. Besides that, Mikey Garcia has called out Errol Spence after his performance with Lamont Peterson, of course, stating that he would like to fight him at the end of this year, if possible. Stating that he wants to fight Linares after he fights Lipinets, which is due for March. They had postponed that fight due to Lipinets having an injury. After that, he wants to fight Linares and then to move up and fight Spence. That's very high talk and a big accomplishment, if possible, for Mikey Garcia. Now we talking Lipinets, which is a good fighter as well. If he pulls that off, he wants to fight Linares, which is another tough, dangerous opponent for Mikey Garcia. And not only that, he wants to move up if these plans comes to pass and fight Errol Spence at the welterweight division for the IBF title and so forth. It's a tough accomplishment, to be honest. You know, moving up from 135 to go to 140, then to move up 147 to fight a guy like Spence. It's a pretty tough task, but Mikey Garcia is a pound for pound fighter overall, but it's definitely a tough task to make that happen. Now, let's get back to Lamont Peterson. You know, a great veteran, you know, had a lot of experience in the ring, but fell short with Errol Spence Jr. Still a good fighter, veteran fighter. I think he still has 2 or 3 fights left in him. You know, it might not be for titles, but he can still have 2 or 3 more fights and give the fans good boxing. You know, good boxing overall, so they can enjoy. Overall, Errol Spence is making it through to the next level of the welterweight division. Who is next? There's a ton of fighters in the welterweight division. We have, you know, fighters like I said, Danny Garcia. We got Sean Porter, and that's another story with Sean Porter that, you know, the IBF doesn't have him ranked in the top 10, so therefore he's not a contender to fight Errol Spence for the IBF title. Why is that? We don't know. He had the IBF title before, and he had lost the title to Kell Brook and won decisively against Sean Porter and won the title. Ever since then, I guess the IBF doesn't have him top 10, and that's the story with that. But he is waiting on Keith Thurman. That's the fight that he really wants, and he doesn't want to fight anybody else until he gets that fight. Another story with that, but hey. Now, Errol Spence, he's doing his thing. Congratulations to Errol Spence once again for pulling off the victory and dominating the fight and moving on to the next stage in the welterweight division. Let me know what you guys think. Who is he gonna fight next? Who do you guys think? Comment, like, subscribe, share the video. Till then, it is your boy O Nice from the Fight Room. Peace.